All right, here we are with Josh Colvin. Josh, these are the rapid fire questions. So first thing that comes to your mind, let's hear the answer. What was your first job?
Arby's.
Arby's, nice. Maybe a follow-up question, what's your favorite thing from Arby's then?
I'm actually mad at Arby's and I semi-boycott them because they don't have potato cakes anymore.
Really?
Yeah, and I got made fun of today at lunch. We had, the best lunch, which in my opinion is breakfast lunch, and I called them tri-tater. Yeah, because that's what we called them in as a little kid was the tri-taters, and every kid I mentioned that to just completely mocked me because 'cause they're like, "They're potato wedges or potato cakes or anything but tri."
You're
So,
not thinking of Tim Hortons, are you here or anything like that or no?
that
This
would
could
be
be a Tim Hortons
Corkish.
thing.
That would be a Corkish thing.
Yeah. All right. This is a tough one for you maybe. What's your favorite movie?
Oh, actually, it's not. Weirdly enough, there's a movie called Beautiful Girls that was filmed in Minnesota. Timothy Hutton, Rosie O'Donnell, weirdly enough, was in it. And it's a movie about going back to your high school reunion after 10 years, going back to your hometown. And there's these different people at different phases of life. Every time I've seen the movie, I've related to a different character in there. And just that challenge of how you're working your way through your life and the challenges that come with it. And like I said, every time I've seen it, I connect with a different character.
Sweet. What about your favorite food? Don't say potato, try wedges here.
Yes. My favorite food is just like most Americans, it's pizza.
Okay, right on. Favorite musical artist?
Oh, probably Prince.
Okay. This one I thought people like us would really get a big kick out of, but it's so hard to actually answer. It might not be that great. What was the last CD that you bought?
Oh, I actually know this
Okay.
because so I'm the guy that I'm a big music guy and staff knows, students don't know it necessarily as much, but I'm the guy that had, before I converted to digital, I had well over 3,000 CDs. So when I had I remember buying a 6-disc changer for the trunk of my car and how cool that felt. But the last CD, this is gonna, you can make fun of me all you want. It was the Christina Aguilera's, here we go, the Back to Basics double CD was the last CD I bought, and I still listen to that stuff all the time.
All right. Right on. What about your favorite author?
Um, I don't know if I have a favorite author. I have a favorite book, which is Joseph Keller's Catch-22.
Mhm.
I got nerded out a little bit in my late teens with, I read Game of Thrones when it first came out back in, I was probably like 93, 94. So I like George R. Martin and how like raw and real that was before that genre turned on that. But I would say I really don't have a favorite author. I'm a big history buff and then a lot of social psychology books and stuff like that just because of what I teach. So I nerd out on books.
Right on. What about your favorite time of the year?
Yeah, I'm such a Minnesotan. I love how everything has, I will say my favorite weekend of the year is Rivertown Day, hands down. But being a three-sport coach now and then just living in Minnesota, every season just has something amazing to offer. So I'd say if I have to pick a favorite time of year, it'd be Rivertown Days weekend.
Okay. Are you a morning person or a night owl?
100% now morning person. My wife and I, it drives her nuts because on a Sunday that I'll sleep in at 6 o'clock, 6:30,
Mhm.
then I'll, this is misleading though, because like I'll take my first nap at 10 a.m. So I think I'm just turning old is what that means.
I think I'm the same exact way now too. So that's okay. So you played sports in high school too, and like you
Yep.
just said, you're a three-sport athlete. What's something you do to calm your nerves before a big game?
I was a big visualization guy even before I got into psychology. And I think that with playing goalie is I had a goalie coach and mentor in South St. Paul who, I'm a loud talker. I'm a constant mover. You know, I share that in common. And for goalie, that isn't always helpful. And so he just had me really, like, I would go sit in the shower in my full gear and where I was nice and quiet. There wasn't the radio and all that. And I would just close my eyes and watch through the game and think through the game and focus on the process. And even now as a coach, I kind of use that to help me fall asleep. Where if it's football season, I fall asleep visualizing like the diagrams of plays. And then in hockey season, it's all goalie technique. And now that I'm coaching girls golf, I find myself falling asleep thinking about swing techniques and stuff like that. So big visualization stuff.
Gotcha. Number one dream destination, money's no issue. Where are you going?
Short term or long term?
So you're saying like, are you moving somewhere like a
Yeah.
week vacation or like you're moving somewhere? Is that what you're
Yeah.
saying? You could
Move
pick
or
one
week
of each.
vacation.
You could pick one of each if you wanted.
I still think my wife and I talk a lot about trying to figure out how to teach in Europe and live there. So I just really love Italy and Greece and Turkey and the idea of all of the culture and history there. And the best part about that is it's on the Mediterranean. And my actual favorite like hobby thing I've ever done is scuba diving. And so the idea of scuba diving in the Mediterranean would be just, yeah, that'd be about tops.
Gotcha. So if you had a 3, 4, or 5-day vacation, would it be one of those would it be one of those spots, or would it be somewhere more
Yeah, I
local,
think
somewhere around here, you think?
yeah, 3-day vacation would be tougher because there's so much to see there. I think a 3-day vacation would be Jamaica.
Okay.
Just hit the Caribbean and the beach and go scuba diving every day and drink for me, I'm such a little kid about it. Non-alcoholic strawberry daiquiris all day by the beach.
Right on. So you're a big history guy, like you said. If you could eat dinner with one person from any time in history, who would it be?
One person makes it tough. I remember you remember Brent had the 4 dinner people, or 3 dinner people stuff question, and I had mine immediately. It was 3 people was my top, and I'm gonna have to pick one of them. My first 2 were, Jesus and Adolf Hitler because I have a lot of questions. And then my 3rd is, about a 38-year-old Dolly Parton because she's just this amazing human being, and she was a very fetching lady at about 38. I think honestly Jesus. Which might come across interesting. A lot of people that are close to me know I'm not a Christian. I was raised that way. But how do you not want to talk to Jesus and ask about 6 trillion questions?
I agree with you. You said it, you're a 3-sport coach. You got a lot of sports that you're watching, a lot of athletes that you're watching too. If you had to pick maybe one of each of the sports you play, or if you just want to pick one overall athlete, that'd be great too. Who's your favorite professional athlete?
Um, Boy, that is tough. If you watch a lot of stuff, I think growing up, my favorite athlete was Patrick Waugh as a goalie. He's an interesting human being, so I don't know if he's the one that I would necessarily classify as favorite, but growing up, he was definitely my hero and the guy I looked up to the most as far as I couldn't miss a game. But weirdly enough, actually, a guy who just made the news from he won't let EA Sports use him in the Madden anymore. Barry Sanders, I just adored watching for little things. Obviously, he was spectacular to watch, but I still love his touchdown celebration. You remember what it was?
I don't really
He handed the
remember
ball
what
to
it was.
the referee. That
Just
was
right
just
there.
it.
Okay.
He would break the ankles of 11 guys, go 85 yards, and he'd walk back, hand the ball to the referee, and go to the huddle. And I remember reading an article of him when he signed this massive contract, and it was in Sports Illustrated, and it was like $12 million, which today seems so silly. You're talking 30 years ago, it'd be like a $100 million contract today. And he remodeled his kitchen in like suburban Detroit himself. That was his bonus. I think I really admire how he carried himself as an athlete, pushed himself, and then just was quiet and unassuming. Maybe it's because he was so quiet compared to me. I always like that the people I could learn from.
Right on. Maybe a loaded question because you teach civics. If you were president for one day,
Oh,
what would be the first thing you do in office?
first thing I would do in office. Um, Here's what's hard because as a president, I know what or as a civics teacher, I know what I can't do. Assuming that like I could get carte blanche and everyone on board with it, I think the single first thing I would do is overturn Citizens United and get rid of all money in campaign finance. Boring answer for anyone who's not a civics guy. Like James Sill would love that answer. Everyone else is, I don't know what you're talking about. So
How long have you been married? That's not one of the questions, but just wondering how long you've been married here.
yeah, I've been married for 24 years. I've been with my wife for 29. We actually got engaged 6 months after we met. We did everything not wrong, like, not how you as a parent would encourage your kids to do it. We moved in, like, a month after meeting, got engaged 6 months, and then waited 5 years, basically 4.5 years before we finally got married, and the only reason really was because weddings are so expensive. We
Mhm.
just kept putting it off and all of that. So, yeah, so 24 years of marriage.
Right on. What is the one thing, one quality maybe that you love most about your wife?
Oh, she is such a good human being. Like, naturally good human being. I can't think of a single person who my wife has ever pissed off, you know what I mean? And that's not me.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? We're very different in that way.
That kind of leads me to my next question. What is the one quality that drives her the craziest about you?
It's not that I talk a lot. I think she's okay with that. To be honest, I think what would probably drive her nuts the most about me is I don't naturally I'm not naturally content. Like, maybe the hardest day of the year for me is a sunny Saturday in June because I
Mhm.
should just chill by the pool and read and relax. And then the amount of guilt I feel within an hour of that, like she warns Charlie if I have a week off, hey, by Tuesday, he's going to start being twitchy. So I think that would probably drive her the most nuts about me is I can't just ever be. I
I
don't know
gotcha.
how you can relate to that.
Mhm. I gotcha. Last question. You could take it in a couple different ways since you're a teacher and a coach here in Hastings. What is your favorite part of teaching and coaching right here in Hastings?
Oh, it's so easy. It's the connections, it's the relationships. Emily Toohey and Gabby McDowell were sitting right behind me yesterday on the bus ride home from a match. And Emily asked a question. She goes, "Is it sound bad if I can't imagine living anywhere but Hastings?" And I said, "No." And not everyone in the van agreed. Like Maddie Haynes is definitely going to move somewhere else and probably never come back. Right. But Gabby and Emily and I talked about the idea of how much of a community Hastings is. And actually, awesome about yesterday is I stopped at Panera Bread with the girls in Woodbury, and there was Isabel Martineau, who I taught and coached, who's now 5 years removed. And of course, I can't leave there without talking to her. And yeah, I like sports a lot. There's no doubt. But what I love is just the chance to be a part of these kids' lives and just to go through it with them. It's so much fun to relive high school and relive these important moments through those experiences with the kids.
Awesome. Thanks, Colvin.